BPod Studios.
Sports Hub headlines.
Bruins got a late goal from David Pastrnak to tie it, then won in a shootout over Dallas yesterday 4-3. Jesper Boqvist and the newly signed Justin Brazeau also scored. Jeremy Swayman, 43 saves, also stopped 8 out of 9 shootout attempts. Bruins head out on a 4-game road trip starting tomorrow night in Edmonton. Patriots yesterday releasing defensive tackle Lawrence Guy and safety Adrian Phillips. Offensive lineman James Ferentz has announced his retirement, and tackle Trent Brown is set to become a free agent after the final year of his contract was allowed to void yesterday. The Patriots also announced officially 17 new members of Gerard Mayo's coaching staff. The 2-week window for NFL teams to use the franchise tag begins today. Kyle Duggar, the most likely target for the Patriots if they decide to go in that direction. Red Sox president Sam Kennedy told reporters Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow is operating under the parameters set for him by ownership, whatever that means. Brooklyn Nets have fired head coach Jacques Vaughn and promoted Kevin Ollie to interim head coach. And after being on the market for the last 2 years, Washington Nationals owner Mark Lerner said yesterday his team is no longer for sale. Headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts leader in pipelining, Drains by James. Damaged pipe, don't dig it, line it. Log on to drainsbyjames.com to learn more. I'm Ryan Johnston on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. More headlines in 30 minutes.
This is Charlie McAvoy.
One down, lined up, and just leveled by McAvoy out at center ice.
On your home for Bruins hockey, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's the all-new Dodger and Hardy.
Whatever, man.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Human feces, urine, and debris. Ta-da. Hello. Yes. Hello. Jackpot. Hello. Hello.
I'm John Wallach on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hello.
How do you like that?
Hello. Welcome to the show. How humiliating.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is Toucher and Hardy. Ryan Johnston is in for Hardy today. In this hour of the show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on Twitch at twitch.tv. We're in the Town Fair Tire Studios. You can call us at 617-779-0985. Hardy texted me yesterday. He, of course, played golf with a guy who I'm supposed to know, but I don't remember. But which happens to me all the time. I'm terrible with names. I think it's. I used to think it was narcissism, but then I think that it's just I have too much in my head. I have too much. When I meet people in the wild, there's too much going through my head at the time.
Do you have trouble remembering parents' names of friends of your kids?
Yes.
I have that terribly. My wife constantly has to tell me that's this, and it's awful.
Well, there's a guy that fills in as the coach for me for my daughter's team on the rare occasion I can't do it. And I like the guy, and he's done it twice, and I've talked to him probably 10 times, and on the roster for the team, it's his wife's name. Oh. So I have to email the wife and go, can your husband do it? And then she'll say his name in the email because they know I don't know his name. So it's like it gets like that. Like even people who do me favors, I forget their name. But I do think it's just because I have so much clutter going on in my head when I meet people that I have so much ancillary stuff. But So Hardy, but Hardy, of course, is in Captiva with his family, and he goes to play golf by himself and gets matched up with people, which to me feels like a complete nightmare. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how you go somewhere by yourself and commit to spending 4 hours trapped in an activity where things can go south for 4 hours.
It's not only that. I've tried that a couple of times, but for me, it's not about just meeting people and spending time with them, because most times when you're out on a golf course and you're matched up with somebody, that person is perfectly nice. But my problem is I get nervous playing around people that I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, you're trapped for 4 hours. It's not that I'm afraid that I'm going to get in a fight with the person or I can't stand being with them. It's just that you're doing an activity where things can go south. Like if you play poorly, you're affecting everyone.
Yeah.
Like or you're not going to enjoy it yourself.
That's more my problem.
Because you can't search for balls and stuff like that. So, like, if you hit it in the woods 4 times out of 6 shots, like the third and fourth time, you really can't go in the woods and like search for the ball because you're gonna be holding everyone up.
And you got that, that people are looking at you, they feel sorry for you, and they want to say something, but they don't want to say something, and there's that whole deal. I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, and so again, it can be, on vacation this week, it could be 5-hour round. And then you're out there and you're trapped. And then it's one of those things is that, like, by the time you get on the green, everyone's finishing up, you can't even putt out. Mm-hmm. But good for Hardy. He just loves it. And his family allows him to leave for 5 hours.
On vacation. I don't know how you do that. That's the thing. You're able to do stuff when you're home, and I know he loves to golf, obviously, when he's here and spends time doing this by himself. But when you're on vacation, you have committed to spending a week with your family, and yet you're allowed to go off on your own for 5 hours at a time? I find that remarkable.
I just... The amount of attention my kids demand on vacation, even at their ages, is... I had them. Their mother was out of town, so I had them 2 weekends in a row. But I had them this weekend, the long weekend, and the amount of attention, like there's no time. There's no time. I even said to my son on the way home, I'm like, do you guys even realize that I'm a human being? Because.
All I am, maybe I should just put a hat on and pretend I'm a chauffeur, wear gloves.
Chauffeur, you get more respect. Like, I picked him up from he had a sleepover at a friend's house in Waltham on Sunday night. I picked him up yesterday. I came home from work, picked him up, came back to Waltham, picked him up. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I want to go to the Y. And I'm like, all right. Well, first of all, I'm like, can I pick you up from your friend's house? Because I'm in Waltham, after work. And
no, I'm sorry. I'm not ready.
And he goes, I want to stay. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So you'll stay. And so I go and I pick him up.
Oh.
And but I want to sleep. So I'm like, he's like, can you pick me up at 2? And I'm like, can I pick you up at 2:30 or 3? He's like, no, because the guy's dad's birthday is today. So then I gotta screw up my whole.
Stick around for Dad's birthday.
Jesus. Well, no. He's got to leave.
Oh, okay. The party starts. Yeah.
So I go, all right, fine. So I get up from the nap, and I understand that these are kids, and I don't want any credit. I'm talking about just how they look at me. This is not I want credit for it. So I go back to Walton, I pick him up, and then he's like, I want to go to the Y, and I'm like, well, can I take you to the Y now? And he's like, and he goes, no, I need 20 minutes of rest. So I got.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, so I got to stop. Meanwhile, their mother's cat was at her house, so I have to go feed the cat. And
you're responsible for that too? It's just one more thing.
That's not a big deal.
Right.
I don't. And it sets a precedent because I have a cat, and then
all right.
Believe me, nothing is completely altruistic with the mother of the children. I mean,
sure.
There's always the other side of it.
Yeah.
I didn't take care of. I mean, the dog was being taken care of by someone else, and so but I went there. I was with my daughter and my son, and so I went there, and he like fell asleep on the couch, and then I'm like, so I waited like an hour to let him sleep, but then I'm like, I gotta go, so I'm like, hey, I gotta go, and he's like, all right, and I'm like, well, you can just stay here and sleep, and I can, you can come. He can walk to my house. I'm like, you can come by later. And he's like, well, I want to go to the Y, and I'm like, all right, well, let's go. He goes, no, come back in 15 minutes. That I did not do. But do you like that? Like, go home, touch the door, and then come back, and then I'll go to the Y.
Did you patiently explain to him that this is insane behavior and you're more than just what you're treating me like?
No, I said that I just said that, I'm not doing that, and you're more than welcome to stay here and sleep, or you can go to the Y right now. And then he was fine. And then, I mean, thank God. I mean, it's so nice to him to be okay with that.
Yeah.
But I did, and then he had like homework to do. So in his bag was at his mother's house. So I was like taking them back last night at like 9:30. So I was like, all right, if you want to do the homework, I'll take you back at 9. And I'm like, Zoe, I got to take you back. And she's like, I got to pack. Take him back first. So I had to take him back. Yes, and I took him back so he could get going with his homework. And then there was someone I was supposed to have texted during the day, and then I went to bed last night at like 10, and I realized I had not texted them the entire day, and I'm like, oh, well, this person's going to be pissed at me.
Wonderful.
Because it's just constant. And for some reason, when their mother has them, this is not going on. I've set a precedent that I'm going to be walked all over.
I think you got to streamline the process a little bit. Like, I think maybe
they fight so much when they're together that the incentive to like not have them together is like a lot.
Is it really that bad?
It's bad. And so, like, I'll go, do you guys want to go out to dinner? And then if my son's like, I'll go, all right, I'll take your sister, and then I'll just bring you back food. because they just argue constantly, constantly argue, like in terrible arguments. And it's the one thing in life that legitimately like annoys me, like beyond anything. I with them, I don't. I mean, you might never believe this, but I'm not a big yeller, and I don't really. I let it all pretty much roll off my back. When I talked to him yesterday, it was on the way to drop him off at home before I went back and got Zoe and dropped her off.
Okay.
And I'm like, do you guys even think I'm, like, I said it like this, but I'm like, do you even think I'm human? Like, does it even occur to you, like, that I'm, a sentient being with, feelings and a brain in my own life?
The arguing thing is interesting you bring that up. How old is Zoe now?
13.
Okay, my kids, I have twin boys. My kids are 14 years old, and this is within the last 2 or 3 months, they've been going at it, like, constantly. Like, it never used to be like this before, but now it is. They get into these long, drawn-out arguments, and it could be about anything, but now, it used to be I had one kid who would argue and the other kids was, took it and like, whatever, man, just whenever you stop talking. Now, my other son has decided to fight back, and now they really go at it sometimes.
Well, my son antagonizes my daughter, and then my daughter acts like it's like a nuclear bomb has just gone off. And then that's, ear-piercing screams. The kind of scream that you feel it in your ear, like the vibration. Well, I'm sorry, John. I don't mean to hit you below the belt. But the kind of scream where you like feel the vibration in your ear, exactly, like that. That really overwhelming. And there's no way that doesn't. It's designed to piss you off, and so. regardless of what's going on, it's my daughter's wailing. Like, he'll hit her in the leg, like, like a quarter punch in the leg. Mm-hmm. And she'll be like, and then I'll go, oh, my God, Zoe. And I'll go, Milo, stop. And I'll go, like, oh, my God, Zoe. And she goes, shut, you don't care, shut up.
Yeah.
You don't care. I hate everybody.
Teenage girls, baby, there it is. Just the beginning.
And the funny thing is that she like is very fond of me, like very, very fond of me, because like if I say something like at all critical of her, like it like destroys her. So I can't do that. So there's this whole. So anyway, if I didn't text you yesterday, I apologize, but I was. This is the life.
Otherwise occupied. It sounds like you were on the go from like the minute you left here, all the way to like 10.
From the minute I left here until 9:30.
Jesus,
it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a couple things I had to do selfishly, for myself. I had a couple things I had to do.
Really?
And
Did they include an iPad, or is that something else?
Oh no, those days are. I got to save it up.
Okay.
I can't be.
Okay.
I can't be. I mean, I only have a couple of weeks in me. I can't
Sure.
be going go crazy. I'm getting to that certain age. Even though I take testosterone, it doesn't fill the.
The need.
It doesn't fill the nest.
Yeah.
All right. The reservoir, exactly. All right, John, what's going on? What are we going to talk about? What happened last night?
Bruins played a real fun game to watch at TD Garden. They came on a good side of things. Tom Werner and John Henry do not meet the media, but Sam Kennedy does, and the Patriots made a few moves yesterday.
All right, very good. Everyone's involved. All right, we'll be right back.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Wondering who made our list of the top 5 all-time queens of country music? Did Carrie Underwood make the cut? Find out now when you text Queens to 45911 and scroll through the list on BackstageCountry.com. Text Queens to 45911 to see the talented artists who rounded out our top 5 list.
Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Did you catch the game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. The wall man is going to do what happened last night.
All right, Bruins were 1-4-1 on a 7-game homestand heading into the final game of that homestand yesterday against first-place Dallas at TD Garden. The Stars entered the game in first place in the Central Division, and they had the lead midway through the third period.
And now the Stars come away 3-on-2. Here's Lindell into the right circle. Shoots, he scores! Essa Lindell goes blocker side. Stars 3, Bruins 2.
Jeremy Swayman made 43 saves for the Bruins, but he didn't get that one. So the Bruins, who had not played well for the most part at all on this homestand, were staring down another loss. 2 minutes left. They're down by a goal. Enter the one guy who could save them.
High slot, McAvoy wheels in. Far circle, Pasternak. He scores! David Pasternak wires in a one-timer from the far circle. Bruins 3, Stars 3.
David Pasternak's 35th goal of the season with 1:35 left in regulation sent the game to overtime and then to a shootout. Brad Marchand saved the Bruins with a had-to-have goal in round 3 of the shootout, and then we went all the way to the 9th round, and I enjoy when we get to this part of it because you got guys taking shots that have no reason taking shots. Kevin Shattenkirk, Jesper Boquist. Finally, we got to the 9th round of the shootout, and Charlie McAvoy had an opportunity.
McAvoy coming from deep in his own zone, strides ahead, grabs the puck, angling right. It's wobbling around into the slot, backhand. He scores! Top shelf.
A little quick on the music here.
Hold the dirty water for a minute.
What a move.
McAvoy's third career shootout goal handed the Bruins a needed 4-3 win. Craig Smith, former Bruin, had an opportunity to tie it. Jeremy Swayman got his blocker on it. It was lying behind him, and then his back leg kicked the puck towards the post. It barely stopped it from going in. Bruins grabbed the win. They head out on the road for a 4-game West Coast road trip starting tomorrow at Edmonton. And Ryan, it was a had-to-have game, in my opinion, for the Bruins because they have this West Coast road trip coming, and they played better yesterday.
Played better against better competition, too. I mean, Dallas is a really good team. They've one of the top teams in the West. A lot of people feel like the West is better than the East this year, so it was a must-have yesterday. I mean, wasn't a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. Still making mistakes. They gave up 46 shots.
Yes,
Swayman,
that does not endear confidence.
Swayman had to play really well yesterday. You mentioned 9 rounds of the shootout, but they got little bit of an identity from the fourth line yesterday. They got 2 goals from the fourth line yesterday.
Let's talk about one specific guy who played on the fourth line yesterday. Fred, I don't know if you saw this guy.
I saw, of course. I also saw Pasternak's shot during the shootout. Wow, that was something else. Huh?
Yeah. Not great.
He's pretty good at that.
You would expect more from a guy who has that many goals.
Wait, you mean completely just going to the side of the net and taking a bad angle shot during a shootout?
Maybe you just skate over to the left circle and just wind up and fire a slap shot.
That's where you're most comfortable. That's
It'd be
true.
much better than skating to the side of the net and just giving yourself no angle.
No angle at all.
And then lightly tapping the puck at the goaltender. But yes, when you're talking about the man making his NHL debut.
Justin Brazeau, who is 6 feet 5 inches tall, 240 pounds. He was in the middle of his 3rd season with Providence, and the Bruins just signed him officially to a 2-way contract instead of an AHL contract. Made his debut yesterday. But the thing that fascinates me about him, Ryan, is that he's that big, and I think he has 160 career games with Providence and 40 career penalty minutes. How does that happen if you're that size?
You'd think you'd just, by accident, you'd have more than that. Like
seriously, you're so big. I mean, one would think you would know how to use your fists, 1, be intimidating, 2. Apparently, this guy's neither of those 2 things.
Yeah, I guess not. The reports that I saw from people who cover Providence yesterday were that originally when the Bruins brought him in, and he came from they talked about it yesterday on the broadcast, came from the ECHL, has kind of worked his way up, undrafted player, all this, and he gets his 2-way contract yesterday, and they bring him right in, is that skating is an issue.
Oh, geez.
Now, he's gotten better, apparently, over the last 2 years, but he is not, I mean, at 6'5", you're not expecting the fleetest of foot. So skating is an issue. He doesn't seem to be an overly physical guy for the size that he's got.
Who's coaching this guy? Seriously.
What's that?
Who's coaching this guy? Seriously, if you're that big, you should be forced to, force other people to defend themselves against you. That's 1, which he hasn't done. And 2, figure out a way to skate.
Well, there are certain natural abilities that some people have and some people don't. I mean, if he's just not fast, he's not fast. He seems to have, from my understanding and from looking at his background, seems to have a knack for scoring dirty goals. Like he can hold his ground in front of the net. Which he did a lot yesterday. I mean, if you watched him specifically, he was spending most of his time within about 10 feet of the crease yesterday. Not an easy thing to do. It becomes easier when you're 6'5", and people have a tough time moving you out of there. But I think that's something that the Bruins need on this team, is somebody who's willing to pay the price a little bit. Listen, first game in the NHL, a lot of guys come up. They've got that initial kind of surge of adrenaline. They get a good game or 2 under their belt. Can you do it over the long haul becomes the big question. I'm not saying that this guy's going to be a savior, but it was nice to see somebody trying to do the right things.
Is it kind of, and Fred, we were talking about this yesterday, how they really miss the physical presence of Milan Lucic. And I'm wondering if now it's kind of like an open casting call to to find that guy that they desperately need, that physical presence on the fourth line. This guy, while a nice story, is apparently not it.
Yeah, but they've sort of committed to him not being up here for the whole time, but they've committed 2 years to this, the ability of this guy to play in the NHL, so they got to be giving him a bit of a run, right?
I mean, they'll give him after yesterday, they'll definitely give him a good look-see here over the next few weeks until the trade deadline, I would think. But, I mean, they gave him a two-year, two-way deal. This will be the first year. So, I mean, they committed to him to next year. But if they send him to the AHL, he's going down to make $100,000 or whatever and not count against the cap. So, it's essentially half a normal rookie contract.
Okay.
Was that he got. So, I mean, it's not he can freely go up and down, no big deal.
All right. Well, and so he can go as many times as they want. There's not one of these weird rules that we've run into before.
Oh, the baseball rule.
No, the hockey rule. Remember, it's happened a bunch of times that there's like these rules about it with U.S. players and Canadian players.
No, it's nothing like that. And he's making minimum money, so it's.
I know he's not even making $1 million.
Yeah,
professional athlete.
Yeah. $775. Him, Boquist, Heinen, Richard, all making $775.
Yeah, and good for the NHL, keeping the man down.
Parker Wotherspoon's another member of that club.
Parker Wotherspoon. What position does he play, Fred?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm guessing defense?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Third line D.
All right.
There he is.
Well, John, you're a master of all knowledge. Thank you.
No, I just my point is they have a lot of guys playing for them right now that fans couldn't pick out of a lineup. This guy, Brazeau's stand out in the crowd. He's a big guy. But you have Richard, who just got called up. I mean, he's 27 and is a journeyman, and he's just kind of there. And you have this guy, Brazeau, you have Wotherspoon. I guess what I'm saying is we're at that point in the season where the Bruins are just trying to get by until everyone else is healthy.
Well, Jaffe thinks this West Coast trip is the best thing that could happen for him. He thinks that, he thinks that they need to get out of town.
Edmonton, Calgary, that's a back-to-back, right? And then it's Vancouver and Seattle.
And they love Calgary.
Yes, who wouldn't love Calgary?
Why?
They have that bar, Cowboys.
Yep, and that's apparently what they do. They apparently because even the guys that work in the organization that could pick and choose what road trips they wanted to go on would like to go to Calgary because they go to Cowboys. Why do they like to go to Cowboys, Johnny boy?
Because you have surgically enhanced women who are waitresses there.
Yes, because if you if you were a waitress at Cowboys, you signed a contract to work for a specific amount of time. Mm-hmm. And then they would give you implants, and so the members of the hockey entourages enjoy that.
Who wouldn't?
They are fans of that.
There's some good stops on that trip. Vancouver's another one.
Vancouver's very nice.
There's a club in Vancouver called the Roxy, which is famous for hockey hangout too. Yeah. They had a thing called the Roxy Flu. For many years, they've written about the Roxy Flu. Guys come to Vancouver and suddenly aren't feeling well the next day.
Now, is that a strip club?
No, it's just a nightclub.
Because Bon Jovi recorded "Slippery When Wet" in Vancouver, and apparently had a strip club that they were very. That's why "Slippery When Wet" is the title of it. Yes,
the guy who ran the front desk when I was over there, the guy who ran the front desk at the hotel asked me if I wanted to go, and this was with my wife like 5 feet away from me, and I'm like, I really can't do that.
Well, he saw that you were a party animal.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
So it's just like a club that the players have a lot of success
Basically, every good-looking woman in Vancouver goes there the night before an NHL game knowing that the other team is going to be there.
Yeah. And that could be dangerous, though, for a man. That's when you got to make sure that you have your own prophylactics. I would not take their word for it that they were on birth control.
There might be some holes poked.
Mm-hmm. If these women are specifically seeking out NHL away players, I would imagine that there's some sort of that for at least a small percentage of them that there would be some sort of trap situation going on, wouldn't you think?
Yes.
Why would you want the away player?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want the home player, right?
Well, I'm sure that a lot of those guys are otherwise engaged when they're at home.
Yeah, but I could see some women just wanting to have the mindless sex. But I would imagine there is an instinct to hang on to your mate once you get that hockey player, that you hang on to them. They don't just go off into the ether. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
So I just know that in the NBA it's a problem, that there's there could be a trap situation. I just would say if the woman says she's on birth control, maybe you don't believe her. That's all I'm saying.
Don't take her at face value.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If my son played in the NHL, that's what I would say. But if you want to go to Cowboys, you have all the fun you want, because those are good girls. All right, when we come back, John, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about Red Sox, Fred. First full squad workout for the Red Sox yesterday. John Henry in attendance. Did he speak to the media? You'll have to tune in to find out.
Oh, it's such a tease. He did smile and laugh, though. That he did do. He did have a good time.
I mean, technically, he did speak to a media member.
Yes, he did. That's true.
All right, so we'll be right back.
BackstageCountry.com, your online home for all things country music. Lainey Wilson is on a roll. She's delivering great music and teaming up with some of country's hottest acts. Text Lainey to 45911 to see which 4 Lainey Wilson collabs have us talking at BackstageCountry.com. Text Lainey to 45911 to get a link to the list sent right to your phone from BackstageCountry.com.
On the air, online, on the air. This is how Boston sports fans start their day. Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. This hour of the show is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Johnny Wall game, because Hardy ain't here doing the what happened last night. What's going on, Wall game?
Red Sox held their first workout for pitchers and catchers, Fred, down in Fort Myers last week. The first full squad workout was today. John Henry and Tom Werner were actually there, but when asked if he would speak to the media, Henry laughed quickly and said no. So he turned around and walked away from the assembled media.
He is so charming. He is such a man of the... It's not even his fault. I mean, but he is... His relation to other human beings. I'm telling you, read that book, The Arm, about him and Lucchino going to try to get... Because Passan was embedded with Lester at the time. Mm-hmm. And when Lucchino and Henry go to try to persuade Lester, who wanted to come back to Boston, to come to Boston. Just John Henry is not good with the humans.
Was that before or after they lowballed him with that original?
It was after they lowballed him, and then they were kind of scrambling a little bit. But but John Henry, for all his gifts with numbers, God giveth and God taketh away, because he is. Maybe it's probably for the best that he does not speak to the media.
It's been 4 years, though.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a press conference for the Red Sox in 4 years.
February of 2000.
When they traded Mookie Betts.
Right
after he hasn't done it since they traded Mookie Betts.
It's armchair psychology, and it's, strangely enough, what a lot of sports talk radio is. And, if Henry would talk, then he could, set the record straight, but he chooses not to, so he obviously likes the speculation or prefers it to the alternative.
He prefers to send Sam Kennedy out there to take the bullets.
But the thing is that I truly believe that when he bought the team and they had never won a title, that he thought, okay, well, when we win a title, I'll be beloved. I'll be everyone will love me in Boston. That's got to be I mean, you would hope that's why people buy teams. Is that there's he's already made his money. He's already a billionaire. You would think that the reason that you buy specifically a sports team is it's a public trust. It's really owned by, it's property of the people, right? And I truly think that he probably feels like, look, you guys had not won anything before I became the owner, and then I become owner. We win a bunch of titles, and you're still crapping on me. So what's the point of talking to the media? All you do is crap on me, and I'm not putting my money into this anymore. That's what I gotta believe, because that's got to be because to run it as a cool, calculated business is not why he bought the team, because it wasn't what he was doing. That's not why he bought it.
It is now.
That's what I just said. But there's got to be a reason for it. It's not that he just figured out, wow, I can make money, like a little bit more money with it. He has to have felt that the return on the investment he put in it in terms of goodwill didn't happen. Something went on where he decided not to go all in anymore on this team.
I think part of that something is that while they have denied it along the way, the sale is coming here in the next 2 or 3
Well,
years.
that would make sense.
Yeah. No, because my thinking is the reason that Theo Epstein is back inside the Fenway Sports Group is that he and probably Sam Kennedy along with him are going to be putting together a group that will buy the ownership of the Red Sox off of Fenway Sports Group. They will be running things here in the next few years.
You say that, and it's interesting you bring that up, because I was just reading a piece by Evan Drellick, who writes about baseball for The Athletic. He used to write up here, and his thought is that both of the guys you mentioned, Theo Epstein and Sam Kennedy, will be candidates to become the next commissioner of baseball when Rob Manfred's term runs out in 2029.
Yeah, well, Kennedy's been up for it, right? Before.
No, it was Werner.
Werner was
Werner
up for
was
it
the
before.
finalist.
Okay.
He's the guy that Manfred beat out the last time.
There's another report that I saw yesterday about Theo that basically said he wouldn't take that job unless he could really effect positive change. And what are the odds of that, really?
Probably none.
Right.
Probably
Well, how
none.
could he improve the uniforms that they just don't get?
I know. It's
Plus,
really brilliant.
Listen, there's a lot of money in being the commissioner of any sport. The ownership is where the real money is.
That's very,
Plus,
very
it's
true.
more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to be the commissioner? I mean, it's more fun to.
Getting to own the team that you grew up with. Like,
Your scenario would be perfect if Theo took over. The goodwill would flow right in from the fandom.
Well,
and he ends up being kind of the face of the
fantastic.
conglomerate, like Jeter is down in Miami. Like it's that kind of thing.
I think that would be great. We were talking about Sam Kennedy, and he did meet the media. You were talking about him taking bullets for Tom Werner. That's what he did yesterday.
We have set parameters for him, and he's operating under those parameters.
Can we surmise that there is additional room from where you are now compared to the parameters that you set?
You know, I do not want to talk about specifics related to payroll and parameters because it does nothing to help us competitively. And look, I think the focus on spending is fair and reasonable. Given where we finished the last couple of years, we understand the frustration. The best way to turn that frustration around is to go out and win baseball games and have the focus be on the team and our players versus where we're spending.
It's very, very
Sam Kennedy.
But by the way,
they placed him right in front of that speaker, man.
Well, I mean, and it sounded like Motley Crue slowed down to.
Yeah.
But you read what? Because it sounded like Vince Neil a little bit slowed down. Did you heard what Tomasi said?
Yes.
Well, that he believes that Werner was not in favor of this budget restriction on the team.
He thinks this is all John Henry's doing.
Yeah, right,
yes.
because in Tomasi makes sense. Tomasi's obviously talked to Werner probably too, or someone around Werner. But why? But that makes complete sense. Why would Werner just say, like, we're going to go crazy and spend all this money, and then they don't do it? So he knows they're not going to do it, so he just looks like an a-hole.
Well, they're just none of them are on the same page. This is from Mass Live last night. This is Kennedy's admission about the parameters differs from the messaging from ownership in that Werner in November said that Breslow would not have any built-in restrictions in its efforts to turn the Red Sox into a contender. Then last month, Werner told Mass Live the Red Sox did not have a line in terms of our payroll that we look at as much as trusting that Craig is going to deliver on his assurance that we're going to be competitive. So Werner's out there multiple times this winter doing full throttle and saying, yeah, we're going to, Craig can do whatever he wants, basically. And then they show up at training camp and Kennedy goes, oh, yeah, he's operating within parameters.
So what you said is what the point Tomasi was making is that there's no reason that Werner would just go out there and lie, knowing that that he was just going to be corrected like 2 months later. Like, he wouldn't do that. He's obviously a guy in the entertainment business. He's savvy, more savvy than that. Why would he buy himself an offseason when no one was paying attention to the team at all? Buy him those 2 months of like, oh, okay, well, they're going to spend a lot of money when he knows it's not true.
And it keeps getting thrown back in his face.
Right.
I mean, that's all anybody has talked about this winter is full throttle.
Right. And because and he said full throttle. He said it sounds like a slogan from like a network, like NBC, we've gone full throttle. Like, it's obviously something he thought about. And I'm sure Tomasi talked to him, but it also makes logical sense. Like Werner, I know Harpo and everything, but Werner's not like a moron.
He's not the guy you want representing your team.
I understand that, but the point remains, John, that he didn't. I don't think he would go out and intentionally lie.
You're right.
It wouldn't benefit him. I just wouldn't say anything. He's not. What I'm saying, he's not like an incredible idiot that would go out and know what he was going to be contradicted. Come out publicly, say something, and that he was going to be directly contradicted 2 months later.
And then Kennedy keeps meeting the media and makes Werner look worse and worse.
I don't think it makes Werner look worse, though, because I think that it makes Werner look like I think it makes Werner look better. Because I think Werner
he wants to spend.
He wants to spend
make
money.
The team better.
And from what I've heard is that, his background in the entertainment business, that he wants, his idea is that, you always want to be something. You always want the public clamoring for you. You want the TV ratings. You want all these things. And his instinct is to spend money, and that he's being overridden.
Well, he's always been the guy who's, on the TV side of things, right? Well, what do you think the Nesson ratings are going to look like for this team this year?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that his instinct is get eyes on the product, and that he would be willing to spend money to do that, and that he's being told no.
There's one other part of this, and it makes Werner look worse because he's not on the same page with the guy he apparently co-owns the team.
Yeah, but if you're a fan, you like the owner that wants to spend the money.
Of course, but
I don't think it makes him look bad.
But the overall problem is you have one guy who apparently, according to Tomasi and others, is in control, and he's kind of vetoing. You know what, Tom? You can say whatever you want, but it really doesn't mean anything. And then he has his minion, Sam Kennedy, meeting the media. And the media is asking legitimate questions of him yesterday. And this is more body language thing. It's a nitpicky thing for me. But, Kennedy's just kind of smiling at him like a patient father who's dealing with a 4-year-old that has no business in this conversation when the media fully understands what's going on. And Kennedy is just kind of laughing things off. And when they press him, Kennedy's like, you know what? This is on me. This is on us as ownership to make the team better. Well, Kennedy fully understands he's not going anywhere. He's carrying out John Henry's playbook. He's not going to get fired. There's no danger for the Red Sox. If the Red Sox play poorly, there's no danger that he's going to lose his job. So what recourse do fans and media have? They have none. They're not answering questions. They're aggressively not trying to win. And after 4 years of this, we're looking at 3 more before all these prospects come up. The way they're running this team is the way that Tampa Bay did, the way that Kansas City did. You wait till your prospects come up, you identify the good ones, you sign them to long-term contracts, and that's great. But fans are paying outrageous amounts of money to go to ball games here. I don't know how much patience fans have with this.
Well, they're not going to. I mean, what you can do is not go to the games, which isn't going to happen, or you can not watch it on TV, which is going to happen.
Yeah, not going to games is something, and ownership realizes this.
Yeah, but they don't make. I mean, that's park small. I mean, no one's going to watch the games. No one's going to listen to the games. No one's going to watch the games. No one's going to talk about the Red Sox. They're going to be an afterthought. And listen, they might win 75 games or something. That's fine. But, they're not going to contend in that division. They're not.
They're not going. Chance of contending
it's such a good division. And so they're not going to contend in that division. And no one's going to care about them. So that's what you can. That's what the fans' recourse is going to be. I wish that they were better, but part of me is very excited that the get-in price is going to be very reasonable.
It's true. I took a look at bleacher seats on the Red Sox website. They're actually down to $15 for non-opening day.
Yeah, and well, my son demands these.
I forgot. You can't
tickets.
sit out there. Yes, that's true.
Well, I'm not going to sit in the bleachers. I don't even drink anymore. Why would I? I mean, that's just an excuse to drink outside. I'm not sitting in the bleachers.
I got it.
You don't go to the bleachers to watch the game.
I know.
You go to the bleachers with your friends to sit outside and drink, which is great. But I don't drink anymore. So and I'm also 49. I'm not going to go to a game.
No, it's pavilion. I get it. No, I
don't go to the pavilion anymore.
Oh, you don't?
No, I go down to the.
It's got to be down close to the ash.
I just need to be able to go sit in someone else's seats, and that's honestly the truth. I need to be low enough. They don't look at my tickets. They all know who I am. Let's be honest. They give me. They don't bother me. The ushers.
Yeah,
there's
old
old
ones. Your tickets. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was you, Fred. Take whatever seat you want.
If there's an usher that is under the age of 50 or 60, chances are they're going to know who I am. They're in sports. They give me a nod. Yeah. Now there's the old ass ones, and there's a lot of them. Yeah. Especially in the good section.
This is a legacy thing.
Yeah, and they don't know who the hell I am.
Plus, you got the bird hookup.
No, but Bird's down in the right field corner. No, he's not anywhere that can help.
The Bird hookup is I'd rather pay than the headache.
Seriously,
calling Bird and then getting him to meet you at the gate. Nah, I'll pay.
And then he's going to sit you in section 2 by the pole. You don't want that.
Yeah, I now Bird has come and given me a massage in the stands, and I didn't even know it was him.
Nice.
And I was like, "Who is this strong-handed stranger?" What we're about to do is not local, but Ryan saw it, and now it's big news. There's a certain coach that no one out there is fond of particularly, that has really gone ballistic and not smart. We'll be right back.